Oh my goodness, it's been a few days, but we're finally done. We're finally done with everything. I got the character to level 60, got him fully PvP gear. I have two different weapon sets that I'm going to go over, and this is my Fury Arms Warrior PvP. So it's very strange build. It's literally an Arms Warrior and a Fury Warrior mixed into one, but we're dual wielding one-handed weapons, and we're actually dual wielding very fast attack speed weapons, so they're really weak, but you don't really need that because the way how this build works is just a really fun, crazy engine, and you just generate a lot of rage, and you just go oonga boonga and do an execute and all that stuff. So just like the title says, it's a One Punch Man style build. Um, and my cosmetics is that we're actually hitting people with my fists. So it catches people off guard all the time when they're getting smacked for like 1,000 or 1,500 crit. To get this cosmetic, you have to get the one punch fist weapons. I got this for 20 gold, so I'm lucky. But maybe after this video, it might spike up in price, maybe 100 or 200 gold. I'm sorry, guys, but it might get expensive. But hey, yeah, it's really cool hitting people with my fist. And the cool thing about it, there's so many different rage mechanics that your fists start glowing really cool, like it's like Super Saiyan power. So it's like literally like a Saitama character. So I said, hey, fuck it, we're gonna go with it, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. We're gonna go over a lot of things in this video. Embrace yourself because it's going to be a very long video, and at the very end of it there's going to be a showcase of all the PvP and all the crazy shenanigans that I've done with the build. In those video clips I did not have the cosmetic the One Punch Man. I literally just got this One Punch Man cosmetic yesterday, and I decided to go with this way because it's so much cooler, it's so much more funner to punch people in their face. So you'll see more recordings in the future with me using my fists. But yes, we're going to go over a lot. We're going to go over the gear. We're going to go over the talent system. We're going to go over the mystics, scroll enchants. So just to give you a little demonstration how this build works, is that all you're trying to do is just get in close range. You're just trying to get in close range combat, and once you get in close range combat, you're literally just trying to spam as much spells and abilities as you can do. So as you can see, um, I get a lot of sudden death proc executes, and this is how that build works. The way that this build works is that it's always procking sudden death, so you're always using execute all the time. And then on top of that, with heroic strike, it's on its own cooldown, and sometimes heroic strike can hit for 600 to 700 to 900 k crits. So sometimes you get it right in the perfect window where you're critting someone for execute for 1,500, and then the heroic strike will critical strike for 600 or 700. So they both can clash at the same time and hit a target and delete the target in one shot. It's pretty awesome when that goes off. A lot of people are very scared with this build. I have a lot of embarrassing moments because in Battlegrounds right now, it's super glass cannon. So I'm literally, before I get to touch anybody or attack anybody, I'm getting sniped down by warlocks, hunters, mages, uh, boomkins. Like, you just get destroyed before you touch anybody, and that's the current state of PvP. It's super unbalanced. So you definitely need a healer in Battlegrounds to do anything, but this is an arena build. This whole build is set for me for arena and getting ready for PvP in the arena, because once arena happens, that's a whole different story. All the Battlegrounds shenanigans is not going to be in an arena. And on top of that, what a lot of people don't know is that the developers are very smart. Um, Being a veteran for 2 years, I've seen how they nerf wildcard, and I say to myself, like, why are they even trying to nerf wildcard? Because it's literally impossible to fix that. And if you don't know what wildcard is, it's that you basically create your character like a god. It literally becomes a god. It's super chaotic. You get like 120 plus talents with like 80 plus abilities or something. It's super crazy. It's ridiculous. It's like super, like, you literally make your character into a Super Saiyan, which is ridiculous. Like, it's super broken server. It's super out of control. But even though that it's out of control, you can actually scroll on the launcher and look at their patch updates. And I know they've been busy because they have two major releases that are about to drop. Well, one already dropped, which was Bronzebeard. But the other big one that's coming is Conquest of Azeroth. That's actually their biggest one, higher than Bronzebeard. So they're pretty much full hands on deck right now with with their developers. I'm pretty sure, which I'm guessing. But before all that, they were always nerfing wildcard PvP, and it's super insane. Um, that they try to nerf the PvP and wildcard. They're very smart in doing it. They know what sweat troll builds work, and they tackle it one step at a time, and I'm surprised. So for them to fix the PvP in Classic Plus is going to be cakewalk because they already been doing PvP nerfs in wildcard, so they're used to this crazy stuff. And to give you guys a little heads up, they nerf dots to the ground, all the proc stuff that's broken. One of the paladin abilities is like Righteous Fury. Or I forgot what it's called. It's like Righteous Fury or something like that. But if you use Righteous Fury, it's like some kind of like tank aura. You would take 100% increased damage. That's how crazy that they nerf these builds. And they're not fans of dot damage either. So all those dot damage stuff, I made a dot damage character which had like 15 plus shadow dots with my shadow priest, and it was like leeching all the shadow damage because it had vampiric blood. It doesn't work. So it's just a little heads up, guys, that don't be surprised if your dot damage and all the stuff that's broken in PvP is going to be nerfed to the ground because the developers, which I've witnessed myself, will do. So don't be surprised. Why I bring this up is that this build is nerf safe because it took a lot of thinking, it took a lot of skill. It's not easy to pull off. You have to work hard to make it happen. But if you work hard, you can make it happen. So it's a little glimpse. Starting with the armor, I have Corporal's Plate headpiece, which you get from the PvP vendor. I have the Challenger's Amulet of Brawn, which you get from the PvP vendor. I have the Corporal's Plate shoulders, which you get from the PvP vendor. I have a Heroic Bloodforge, where I got from the auction house. I have Corporal's Plate armor, which has an enchant of +3 to all stats. I have a Heroic Bloodforge, which I got from the auction house, that gives us hit rating, critical strike rating, and attack power, and it has an enchant +9 strength to it. I have a Corporal's Plate gauntlets, and with an enchant of 10 plus to haste rating. I have Heroic Bloodforged belt. I have a Corporal's Plate leggings, and I have the Corporal's Plate boots with minor speed increase. You always have to run minor speed increase, especially when you're melee, so you can run faster to your target instead of walking slow. And this gives critical strike rating. For the two rings I'm wearing the Loop of Brawn, which gives critical strike rating and strength. And the second one I have is the Loop of Prowess, and which this does is that it gives agility and critical strike rating. So as you can see, the pattern here is that we're focusing on critical strike with our character. With the trinket is a Heroic Bloodforge item where I got from the auction house. It's the Bloodforge Heart of Warm Heart. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But improves haste rating +10, improves critical strike rating +10, and it has a chance to bathe your enemies in flames by 120 to 180 fire damage. And what I've seen with the damage DPS charts, it's doing it more damage than deep wounds. So this is a really good trinket to have. Very good on damage. And of course, we talked about the Owl Beast on a different video. What this does is that it gives you a whole bunch of buffs anytime you use spells and abilities and attacks, and it ranges from attack power to spell power, critical strike rating, haste rating, and armor penetration. Something to know for you new players that you don't know anything about spell power in WoW Ascension. What spell power does now, 30% of spell power goes into your melee hit damage minimum or maximum rate. So if we do roll the buff or spell damage, it still kind of helps our melee DPS out by very little. It's not ideal to aim for, but if we do roll the spell power, it's not there for nothing. So I just want to let you guys know for that one. For the bow, we have a Heroic Bloodforge bow I got from the auction house. It has hit rating and resilience and all that stuff. And then the main kicker, the main MVP items of the show of this build is the Heroic Bloodforge hedge cutters, which I got from the auction house.
What's really good about these is that their weapon speed is 1.4. After all the interactions that I will talk about later, our attack speed is actually 1 second per swing. So that means that our heroic strikes are swinging 1 second. It's hitting as much or more as a two-handed weapon, which is super strong. And these are my main MVP weapons that do multiple damage, helps me trigger sudden death really quickly, makes people panic because they're getting damaged really quickly and they panic. People panic when I start hitting them. And the weapon chant for both the weapons is Crusader. And if you don't know what Crusader does, is that it has a chance to proc for 20 seconds to give you 100 strength. And since we're dual wielding, we actually get double procced, and there's good 20% of the time, 35% of the time that both of them proc at the same time. We get 200 strength. That means we get a lot of attack power, and our melee damage is absolutely insane, and it makes us a powerhouse. It gives you that proc for the extra damage that it also heals you for 120 every time that it procs. So, it's a very nice healing machine on top of your blood craze and second wind, which we will talk about later with interactions. And that is it for the gear. And then for the stat points that I have right now before season one starts, I'm fully PvP geared. I have 300 strength. I have 92 agility. My PvP power is 459. My stamina is 264. My weapon speed, because I don't have any procs right now, without no procs, and it's just flat out 1.22, which is nice. My hit rating still needs a 0.60 so that I never hit misses on characters, but having 3.40% is still pretty good right now. Right now, as you're seeing, is that it's pretty much 25% critical strike given at all given times. But after all the procs and everything, it would actually go up to 31% or 32% critical strike chance. So, which is super crazy and insane. All right, so we're here at the Mystic Enchant Glyphs, and these are all the glyphs that I'm using. The primary glyph that we're going to talk about is Aldraxis. What this does is that it makes our heroic strike swing with both weapons, so it's hitting as hard as a two-handed weapon, pretty much. Our epic enchant is Titan Fury. Our second epic enchant is Quick Death. Our third enchant is going in for the kill. For our blue rares is going to be the Glyph of Heroic Strike, Glyph of Cruelty, Glyph in Insight. And what Insight does is that it gives our Heroic Strike a 15% increase in critical strike damage. So, as I was saying before, when we're in battle and our critical strike is up to like 31 or 32%, it means that our heroic strike is balancing between 45% to 47%, almost 50% critical strike chance. And especially when season one comes out with better gear, I'm pretty sure that's going to go a lot more higher. So, yeah, that's pretty insane. For our next blue is Blood Craze. This is a good defensive utility. Anytime you get critical strike, you're always generating 1% health every second. That's basically how Blood Craze works. It's really helpful in duels, and especially if you have a healer on you. The next rare glyph that we have is Improve Execute. It reduces our execute ability cost from 15 to 10, which is really nice. And our final one is Unbridled Wrath. You can play around this with Armor Teeth and Unbridled Wrath if you want to. It's really up to you what you want to do. But for me, since we're attacking so fast, we're gaining so much rage. And if you don't know what this does, you have a 40% chance every time you're swinging and hitting an enemy to generate 1 point rage. So usually this talent wouldn't be so good at all. But the thing is with our character is that our character is actually attacking super hyper fast like a rogue does. So that 40% actually adds up really insanely quickly. So our rage generation from this alone is a big boost and help, especially since we're using Titan Fury, which we'll talk about later. And the final one, the utility, the best one in the field, my favorite skill. I love the skill. You yeet people in the sky is Siegebreaker. It's a 30-second cooldown, and what it does is literally knocks people far away. Like you knock them like it's baseball. You just send them across the field like see ya. Yeet people off a cliff, and it's so much fun. I love this ability. It's really good for comboing. So the combo that I usually do is I'll charge in, I'll do a little DPS, I'll wait for a major casting ability that they do. When they do a major cast ability, I'm going to use Siege Break to interrupt that. They're going to be flying in the air. They're going to be taking from damage from deep wounds, and it's just, messes them all up. And then after that, then I use intercept to combo after that, and then they're going to be stunned for like 3 seconds and do more comboing damage, what you will see in the montage PvP video in the end of the video. And those are the glyphs. So that's what you want to get for your glyphs. And then now we're going to talk about the talent tree. So for my talent tree, I have all points into heroic strike. I have all points into deflection. I have all points into improved rend. I have all points into iron will. I have all points into technical mastery because I'm switching between defense stance, berserker stance, and battle stance all the time. So I get to keep my rage every time I keep switching. Anger management, which helps generate rage. Next talent is impale, and what this does, it increases your critical strike damage bonus by 20%. And as you know, we're critical striking a lot, so that increases our damage a lot. And then followed up with deep runes. Anytime that we do critical strike, it goes off our weapon damage on average. Even though our weapon damage is pretty small, our critical strikes are pretty huge, especially with execute. So the deep wounds damage is still pretty high. On the next talent tree is the polearm mastery. It also affects axes, so one-handed axes and two-handed axes. And what it does is that it increases your critical strike rating by 5%, but it also increases your critical strike damage bonus by 5%. So with impale and this talent tree together, that's 25% increase critical strike damage bonus increase, which is really super nice. The next one is sweeping strikes, followed up with the weapon mastery, trauma, Mortal Strike, improved Mortal Strike fully, Second Wind, Strength of Arms, Juggernaut. For the next talent, which is the main bread and butter combo for this build, is Sudden Death. And how this works is that you have to do a lot of melee hits, and it increases the chance for sudden death to proc. So more that you keep doing melee hits, more that the proc increase chance increases. And as you already know, we're swinging super heavy like a rogue. We're attacking as fast as a rogue player. So this sudden death proc actually just charges up very quickly. And as you can notice with the video demonstration, is that it's procking a lot. And especially with a heroic strike combo ordeal, swing with both weapons because it counts as both hits, I believe. It's a lot of procking of sudden death, and people are getting hit with execute a lot. And sometimes you'll get a combo where you sudden death, you execute somebody, and then you get sudden death again, and then you execute somebody, and you can actually double crit one after another, which is super nice. So that happens to me once in a blue moon, once in a while. The next talent is Endless Rage. The next one is Blood Frenzy. The next talent tree is Wrecking Crew. Basically, anytime you do melee critical strike, which we're always doing, we enrage and we do increase damage by 10%. And for the last one and the most coolest spell, Blade Storm. Blade Storm is very good utility if we get snared a lot and we're getting perma-slowed and we need to get across the board. And also, it's really good for damage too. So first things first with the interactions, let's talk about the procking because there's a lot of procs that happen with this build. There's so many different items, there's so many enchants, there's so many talents are doing tons of procking and doing this whole combo. And we're going to talk about that and discuss that right now. So we need to talk about how this whole engine works. So basically what happens is that with Titan Fury, when we activate Titan Fury under 50 rage, 3 of our heroic strikes rage cost is for free. As you can see, we're always focusing on critical strikes. Critical strike rating, and as we discussed before, that the critical strike rating for it can go up to 45% or 47%. So that means the glyph of the heroic strike almost has a 50% chance of proccing, but when it does proc a critical strike with a heroic strike, we gain 10 rage back. So every time it uses the heroic strike, not only that it's using it for free, we get 10 rage back, building up rage for our execute ability to do more damage. On top of that, we're already getting a whole bunch of rage mechanics from everything else, so we can make our execute always do maximum damage. So not only that execute does maximum damage, but it actually refunds that rage damage that was spent. And it also has extra bonus because we do cast Rend as well, the normal bleed. So it actually extends the Rend uh, duration by 4 seconds every time we execute. And we're always executing all the time. So that Rend proc on the enemy character is always going to be ticking since we're executing a lot. But when we execute, it refunds any extra rage costs over 15. So we're getting 15 rage back. But in hindsight, you have to look at it in a certain way because our execute only costs 10 rage now. So it's kind of like 20, but not 20. So we're getting 15 back. But it's not like we're spending 15 rage to use the spell in a sense because execute only costs 10 now instead of 15. And as you guessed it, it combos with the glyph of heroic strike. So basically, you critical strike with heroic strike, you get 10 rage, then you get sudden death, and you can actually use execute right away. And if you have any extra rage points that meet the criteria for going in for the kill, you get that rage back. So we're always having rage. We're doing a lot of shenanigans with this combo. So that's how the main engine goes. So we're always able to cast Heroic Strike, and we're always able to cast Execute with extra rage. So yeah, this is a really fun build, and I can't wait for Season 1 to come out. We're going to do a lot of arenas, and it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. So yeah, I hope this build helped a lot, and you guys have a good day.
Ascension